thanks for stopping by. Robert Kofed with Computer Creations. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about my new 15-watt UV laser from Haotian Laser. I've had a number of requests to just talk at a high level about the differences that I found between my 60-watt fiber laser compared to the UV laser, what materials I've tested on it. Like I said, I've only had it for just a short amount of time, and so I certainly haven't had enough time to flush out all the settings that I'm going to end up on. But I will tell you, as a rule, that I've really enjoyed this experience. So let's start from the beginning. I ordered this and it came to my door with at about 12 days. And I go to unpack the laser. You know, they come in a fairly small crate. And I noticed that the lid was taped on. It wasn't actually nailed down or anything, and I thought that was kind of odd. So when I cut the tape off and lifted the lid off of the crate, I was absolutely horrified. It looked like the contents had spilled out and that they had just thrown the contents back in the crate without any thought about how sensitive this equipment can be. And off it went. Well, before I uncrated it, I took some pictures and got a hold of BZRAD and Pascal, letting them know what had happened and what did they want me to do, because I was a little bit concerned about you know, whether this unit was going to function or not. And they were very responsive. I mean, I had a response from them within about 15 minutes. And they indicated to me, go ahead and put it together, let's fire it up, see if it works. If not, they'll get another one on their way. They were very responsive. We assumed that it was during the inspection process when they were sending it out of the country from customs or something like that is when all this happened. It certainly wasn't shipped that way. And so I got it all set up. There was some cosmetic damage on the computer case. I documented that, fired it up. It's worked perfectly since. I had some cosmetic parts that were scratched that they sent me, and I had within a week of when I indicated that we had a problem. But this is exactly the reason why you want to make sure that you're ordering you know, your laser equipment from a reputable source, because if you have a situation like this, and let's say that I wasn't that lucky and we had a damaged laser source or something like that, you may have a hard time getting them to replace that, because now you've got to prove who did it, and that's next to impossible to do. So I can tell you from firsthand experience, this is my second laser from Haotian Laser, the first one being the 60-watt fiber that I ordered about 2.5 years ago. And with this experience, it just solidifies my stance that Haotian Laser is really top-notch when it comes to customer service. At first, I was a little bit worried about what was going to happen, but after talking to both BZ and Pascal, they assured me that whatever it was going to take to, you know, to make it right, that's what they were going to do, and I completely believe them. They had some parts sent to me that were just cosmetic parts. Part of the computer side control panel was damaged. They sent me 2 brand new ones, no problem. And like I said, I had those within a week. So just keep that in mind, because that outcome could be far different if you have a company that you can't get a hold of, or they're not going to take responsible for other things that happen during the shipment of your equipment. So let's go ahead and jump in to talk about some of the materials that I've tested, and I'll give you my thoughts. So let's go through some of the things that I've tested so far in the 3 weeks that I've owned this machine. And one of the first things that I will tell you, and I've mentioned this in a previous video, but it was a surprise to me, and so I wanted to make sure that you understand it. This is a 15-watt UV, and the 10-watt and the 15-watt are water cooled. You have a big chiller that's not only a chiller, it's a heater as well. And one of the things that you have to understand, if you order either a 10 watt or a 15 watt UV, is it will come with a chiller. And one of the things that it will do is it will bring that water temperature up to 25 degrees Celsius before it wants you to use the laser. So one of the things, the big differences between my 60 watt fiber versus this 15 watt UV is I could come in, fire up my fiber, and go to work. Now this shop is heated, it's insulated. I normally turn it down to about 60 degrees when I'm not in here. And what I found is when I come in the morning, I fire up the furnace, I turn on the chiller, which is actually heating the water at this time of year, and it will take about 15 minutes to bring that water temperature up from where it is to 25 degrees to where I can use it. So just understand that there is a little bit of wait time to be able to use this UV laser if you're getting a 10 or a 15 watt, because it's temperature set, the water temperature is set to a particular threshold. And what will happen is if you try to use it prior to it getting up to the required temperature, is the laser unit itself will give you an alarm. And so I just wanted you to remember that, or keep that in mind. Usually it's very fast. Within about 15 minutes, it brings it up to temperature. And then it keeps it within that 24 to 25 degree range all the time. And from what I understand from Pascal, that's the optimum temperature that these UV lasers likes to work in. So just keep that in mind. If you're going to be operating this in a very cold shop or an unheated shop, your wait time might be significantly longer to get that the chiller that's actually heating the water up to that 25 degrees Celsius range before it's going to allow you to use the UV. So just keep that in mind. That was kind of the first surprise that I wasn't aware of, and I just think it's an important point. But it's worked fantastically. It's very easy to hook up, not a big deal at all. The other thing, like we talked about in the previous video, is the laser source for the UV is right here. It's not down in the computer case like the fiber is. So this black wire loom just doesn't have any fiber source in, or excuse me, any laser source in it. It just has wiring that go from the computer case up to the laser head itself. But the laser source is much wider, and you will not be able to use a standard case that you might think of like for a fiber laser. It's not going to work. So I'm thinking about building one, or having Tico build me a case for this down the road. So other than that, I got the 110, the 210, and the 300 lens. I also added the 700 millimeter motorized lens, or excuse me, motorized tower. And I tell you that, in my opinion, it's really worth it. And the reason why I say that is I've got this control box right here that I can move it up or down. I don't have to worry about trying to adjust it with the screw knob on top, especially if you're thinking about using that 300 millimeter lens. You're gonna need the 700 millimeter motorized tower. And that's something that I would highly recommend. The other thing that I learned last time that I did differently when I ordered this UV is I didn't order all of my lenses up front when I ordered my fiber laser. And I found that that was a mistake, and here's why. I ordered a 300 millimeter lens after the fact when I got my fiber, but the problem with that is I had to do all the lens calibration, which I had never done it before, so it took me a good 3/4 of a day to get that all dialed in. It's a process, okay, so it's not fast. And so if that's not something that interests you, I would highly recommend that you order all of your lenses up front, and that way they do the calibrations, and they actually stick those calibrations on the side, and that way you can just feed those calibrations into Lightburn and you're done. And so if you don't want to mess with that kind of stuff, just order your lenses up front and be done with it. That way you can import all those settings into light burn, you're done, and you've got 3 types of lenses that you can use that go anywhere from just a little bit over 4 inches to just under 12 inches. And that gives you a great range for the type of work that you're going to do. So let's talk a little bit about materials that I've played with so far. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't had a ton of time to use this just because business has been a little better than normal for this time of year, which I'm not complaining, but I'll get there. So let's talk a little bit about it. One of the first things that I did is try some different types of leatherette, and it does an absolute beautiful job on leatherette. It's just as nice on leatherette as the fiber is. But here's the bigger benefit over the fiber. On the fiber laser, I can't cut leatherette. On the UV, I can not only engrave it very nicely, but I can cut it out as well. And so that's a big benefit of the UV over the fiber from a leatherette perspective. But it does incredible detail, had no problems. The settings that were set in the material library that Haotian provided were really, really close. I mean, they were very close. So leatherette, not a problem. I've tried many different colors and have been able to do the metallics, been able to do the black and the color to black, not a problem at all. And in some of this I've done, I know you probably can't see it, but I've done just incredible detail. You got to remember that the beam on a UV laser is smaller than on a fiber laser and much smaller that's on a CO2. So the detail that you can get with a UV is pretty incredible. So I've done lots of leatherette. One of the things that I did a lot with my fiber is coins. I've got several corporate accounts that I do coins for safety awards, those kind of things. And so that was one of the big things that I wanted to make sure I could still do on a UV. So I've done the brass, I've done the stainless, excuse me. And what I tell you is you can still do coins, but it is a little bit slower. And so as long as you're willing to afford a little bit time difference between the two. Now, if you're making nothing but coins, the fiber is really best suited for that kind of work. But if you need to do coins and you've got other things that your fiber needs to do, you can do coins on a fiber, or excuse me, on a UV, and they come out really nice. So it's just the settings are going to be different. So coins, not a problem, especially if you're just doing surface marking and you're not doing any three-dimensional work. If you're doing three-dimensional work on metal like coins, you want to stay with the fiber, no doubt about that. One of the other things that I'll mention is the UV laser does not have a power setting. You basically got speed, frequency, and Q pulse along with your lines per inch. And those are the 4 different parameters that you've got to use to dial in your settings. And so it's a little bit different than what you're used to, whether it's a fiber or a CO2 machine, is you're not messing with the power. And so it's a little bit different learning curve, but not bad at all. I've done ear tags, cattle ear tags. And the thing about it is this marking that you see is absolutely smooth. It's just changing the color of the ear tag. And these are very, very fast. I mean, this ear tag took me 17 seconds to create. So for marking on plastics like this, very quick and easy. Now you don't have, or I haven't found that you can change the color much here, and it could be that I just don't have enough time to be able to dial that in. But the color that comes in it is very readable, so that's good. I haven't done a lot of engraving on wood, but I've done pictures and that kind of stuff. Does a fabulous job on that. No problem there. Designs on metal business cards, along with you can cut aluminum metal business cards. I cut these out along with just designs on them. Pretty crazy on the detail, that kind of stuff. you can mark 3D printed parts. So this is all marked on the 3D printed lens cases that I made, which is great because I've got a lot of call for marking on plastics. And so if you've got 3D printed parts, now you can mark them up, and it's easy, it's quick, no problem there. I've done golf balls, and the detail on these golf balls are just absolutely incredible. I have tried the white golf balls and the kind of the bright neon color golf balls, and I haven't had much luck on the bright yellow golf balls, but the white golf balls, you get kind of a charcoal color. Not a true black, but a charcoal color, and it could be that I just need to refine my settings a little bit. But golf balls, no problem. Check this out. If you've got hard coolers, this is an RTIC hard cooler, and you can see that I've marked the top and the sides. So light colors go to charcoal gray, dark colors go to a kind of a creamy white color. And so I've marked coolers that are small like this. I've got a swivel base on this UV laser, so I can swing this head over the edge of the counter, and I've done up to 65 quart coolers. You know, putting business logos, that kind of stuff on it. And that seems to be working pretty well. So I've done quite a few things. I've done some glass. I will tell you that I've struggled a little bit with glass. And it's probably because I just need to spend a little bit more time with the glass. I've used the rotary, I've used the flat, and I'll get there. And it provides an absolute beautiful engrave on glass. I've got some right here. I'm still, again, playing with it, but it does an absolute just beautiful job on glass, and I just need to tweak it a little bit more is all. But I just wanted to give you some first impressions on the UV. It's been great. It's worked flawless. You know, it was easy to set up. I probably pulled it out of the crate and set it up. It probably took me an hour, I'm guessing, an hour and a half to get it up and going. Here's one other thing that I'll mention that I kind of learned the hard way. And it's when I did the timing on my fiber laser, I would just, you know, get the black aluminum cards, engrave the pattern, take a picture of that with my iPhone and blow it up and make sure that it looked okay. And what I tell you is that's just not adequate enough. So if you have not either done timing on your Galvo laser or you've done it that way, trust me, invest in a $35 USB microscope. I'll put a link to the one that I purchased, and I will tell you it was an absolute game changer when I thought I was dialed in on my timing. And I put these test cards that I had done underneath this USB microscope, and I was not even close to being where I needed to be from a timing perspective, which means that I had to go back and redo the timing on my fiber laser, and it was just that much better once I did that. So if you've got a Galvo machine and you haven't done the timing and you're looking at that timing under a USB microscope, it's the best $35 you're ever going to buy. And then you can slide those test cards underneath this little microscope, and you'll kind of see what you're doing very easy. You can change your settings to get your timing right, and away you go. And so other than that, I think, like I said, I'm going to continue to enjoy this machine. I've got lots of settings I've still got to refine. I will put some links in the description for where you can go to the Haotian store, look at the products that they have. You can always get a hold of Pascal, Louis, and BZRad on Facebook, and I'll put their links in the description. And if you've got other questions, or if you want specific content regarding this 15-watt UV laser, please put that in the contents as well. That's what I'm looking for. And I hope you enjoyed the content. If you do, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't, please subscribe. And until next time, thanks and have a great day.